Hello and welcome to this special Intact Insurance podcast ahead of BIBA 2026. Today we're shining a spotlight on one of the most energising sessions taking place at this year's conference, the Women in Insurance Breakfast. We're very pleased to have Vicky Walker, our Vice President of Property. Before we dive in, can you just tell us a little bit about your career journey and what motivates you in your work?
Brilliant. Thank you so much for having me today, Ruth. So I've been with Intact 25 years this year.
Wow.
So as you said, VP for Property and Casualty Claims. I only started that role 2 weeks ago. But just maybe a little bit about me. So I started off 25 years ago, started off handling commercial motor claims. Did claims for about 10 years. Then I moved into some change roles. So I've done a variety of different change roles across the organisation. About 6 years ago, I came back to run our change team in claims. And then 3 years ago, I took over what is now shared services, and that team provides shared services across the business. And then 2 weeks ago, I started as VP of Property and Casualty Claims.
Well, huge congratulations, Vicky, on that new role. What motivates you and what has kept you anchored and tethered in the insurance industry all that time?
For me, it's about making a difference and delivering a difference every single day. And actually, I'm really excited about the new role that I've just started. Huge opportunity to make a difference. I think it's really important to be on the front line, really helping to deliver our ambition to be the #1 commercial insurer. We're doing lots of really exciting things, whether that's our claims outperformance journey, whether that's through our service improvements, our digital offering, or our claims proposition.
Turning our attentions to BIBA now, and this year's Women in Insurance Breakfast is back after a really successful 2025 event. What does being part of this session at BIBA mean to you personally?
It's really meaningful for me, and I think especially with the move to a new role, but back into claims where I very much started my career journey, it's definitely given me a reflection point to think about how far I've come since I joined the organisation and all the brilliant people who've supported me in terms of my development over the last 25 years.
Thanks, Vicky. And why do you think events like this are so particularly important to women and the insurance industry as a whole?
I think the world of work is changing hugely, especially the insurance industry as well. So at the Women Insurance Breakfast, I think it's going to be a great opportunity to hear some really inspirational speakers, but also to have, whether that's one-to-one or small group conversations, to understand actually what's working well in the industry, what might be some of the challenges, and how do we advocate to support women in insurance, and also how we support the next generation of women coming into the industry.
Thanks, Vicky. You touched there on inspiring and inspiration. You must have met many inspiring people along the way during your career. Can you recall a moment in time or a piece of advice that stayed with you that you would like to share today?
Yeah, I think for me, the biggest piece of advice I would have given myself maybe 10, 15 years ago is not always thinking you need to know every single answer to every question before you take on a development opportunity, whether that's informal or a formal role move. If I look back over what happened about 9 years ago, I came back from maternity leave with my second child. I was offered the opportunity to lead a team, and I think I really wasn't sure whether or not that was the right thing for me. I took that leap, and it was the best thing I did, and it set me on the career trajectory that's landed me this relatively new role that I've just taken on. And actually the thing for me, which has really supported me, is all the brilliant support I've had throughout my journey, maybe at times when I could choose to leap or not to leap, and actually having the right support around me to kind of take that leap and take that next step. It's not always easy. It has been challenging at times, but for me, it's unlocked a huge amount of opportunity, experiences, and I've met some fantastic people along the way.
Thanks, Vicky. You touched on support there, and I can imagine invaluable support at home as well as at work in order for you to get to where you wanted to be in your career.
Yes, so at home, couldn't have done it without my husband. I'm very lucky to have my mum nearby that has really helped out with the children when they were younger. And then in work, I think it's some very formal mentoring relationships I've had. I've had a couple of people who've really been key to pushing and challenging me to do more. But also I think informal mentoring as well is really, really important. And sometimes having that person who's really championing you, or you can call at the end of the day, maybe when you've had a really tough day and you just need a little bit of support, again, really, really important. And I think something that drives a huge amount of value in my day-to-day working life.
Vicky, thanks so much for sharing your insights. Thanks for being so open. For those of you listening, if you'd like to pick Vicky's brains about what it's like to be a woman in insurance or even about claims, please go meet her and the team on stand E10 at BIBA.